Welcome, welcome. How's everybody today? I'm about a minute early, so going to give people a chance to get set up and logged in. And I got to put my little sign up. We are here and everything's good. All right. I'm going to drop some things in the chat while people are getting set up and ready to join us. So just bear with me. If you're catching the replay, just bear with me or advance probably just a minute or two while people are getting set up. Okay. Just going to drop a couple of things there so people have them. Got the link there now for checking out Cash Control Bootcamp, which is excellent. It is also in the emails you're getting. So you get the reminder email in the morning, but the afternoon email around 4:30 p.m. Eastern is containing all of those links. So that's excellent. Okay. And I'm just going to drop the link as well for our weekly business owner meetup, which is our Biz Money Club as well. So that's just weekly, drop in as you can, but you want to get on the list so you get the Zoom link. So that's fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to give people one more minute to join and then we're going to get started. So welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me. Just as a reminder, you have your workbook, which provides a great resource for you now and into the future. So that is fantastic. So you'll have that and you'll be all set. You also, if you didn't catch the sessions on the weekend or you didn't see the replays, Saturday, day number 6 is a full Q&A where I go through kind of the main questions I've been getting about the Cash Control Bootcamp and what that looks like and what that would be like for you. And then as well on Sunday, day number 7, was a really deep dive into money mindset. And I know for so many of you, you mentioned to me either in the sessions or you mentioned to me on some calls that we had that was really important. And so welcome, welcome, glad you're here. So the money mindset session, if you haven't caught the replay yet, I think it will be of interest to so many of you because that's what comes up. And certainly money mindset really has a big bearing on how we approach things, how we make decisions. And so if you haven't caught that replay yet, it's a really deep dive into that. And it also provides you some actual practical tips to transition from kind of a scarcity mindset over to an abundance mindset. Welcome, Arlene. How you doing?
Good, Tracy. How are you?
Good, thanks. Happy to see you here. Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Very good.
Good weather here. And you had a good weekend too?
Yes, we did. We did. It was lovely weather. So yes, it was nice. Thank you.
Excellent.
I couldn't get on the calls.
That's okay.
Bicycling and yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It's important to enjoy your weekends and your free time. So that's why we do have the replays for anybody who needs them. So
yeah, hang on a second, Tracy. I have not received them. I mean, I
must be getting into your spam, but I'll drop the link here in the chat for you for the whole YouTube playlist.
Actually, yeah, that's what I told. What was it?
I had sent an email, I think, last week on that too. So it's not an attachment; it's just a link that's embedded in the verbiage.
I'll check. I will check that.
So I put it in the chat here, so you'll be able to grab that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, excellent. I'll just pop right into YouTube and check it out there. So
yeah, and they're all in one playlist. So you can just find the ones you haven't seen or ones you might want to see again, because I know sometimes the pricing one is one people want to go back to.
Sorry, I'm going to close. I'm going to close.
That's okay.
Can you hear the blue jay?
I do.
It gets loud, doesn't it?
Yes. So grab that, and then you can check that out. And if you're still having any trouble, let us know. Okay.
There we go. Yes, I will pop onto YouTube for that. So I've got that. Thank you.
Perfect. Any other questions before I move along?
No.
You're
please go ahead.
Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to dive in. You've been hearing from me now for over a week around the results that I'm seeing, the impact that it's having on people, and I wanted you to be able to hear from people directly. They're not with us live today, but we've certainly got some testimonials here that we're going to check out. So I'm going to pull those up. The first person we're going to start with is Naima Guillermo, and her link to the whole podcast episode is in your workbook on page 15. You can check out the full podcast, but I just want to share a clip where she talks about what was the biggest impact. Oops, something's happening here. There we go. I went off the wrong screen. So she's sharing what is the biggest impact to her, and certainly what has been happening in her business since she was a participant in the Cash Control Bootcamp. And so I want to go there, and I want to show you that clip. So let me get there. And I've got to share sound. I'm going to do this. All right. And we're going to just pick it up midstream where she's talking so that you're catching that part.
But he's kind of figuring things out. And so now moving really on to entrepreneurship, based on your experience to date, and certainly you are managing a team, you're working with various clients, and you've done some freelance work as well. What success tips can you share from your own experience with Social Sherpa and some of your freelance stuff?
That's a good question. So for me personally, I think the one thing that I have to say is attitude. So I had to learn that for myself. And it's not enough to just show up for yourself, but also showing up for other people. So when you just show up for yourself, that's something that I was doing quite a lot in the beginning, especially because I was on, the survival mode, right? So with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there's a stage one, that's where I was at. And so I would always show up for myself. So every environment that I went to, I would present myself up. But I learned that, hey, you have to show up for other people as well. And attitude is something that is, I think critical when it comes to entrepreneurship, especially because, that's where you're trying to help other people. And, that's what's going to feed other people as well, because it's your energy, right? So we all feed off of energy from each other. And even for yourself, once you have a good attitude, it also can help you have a good attitude and have a great stamina, like on a day-to-day basis too.
Excellent. Anything on the financial side that comes to mind that you would encourage people to do, either because you started out doing it the right way or a good way, or maybe something you learned along the way?
Oh, yeah. So the one thing that I did learn along the way was, in the I think it was the masterclass, Cash Flow masterclass, that Control Your masterclass that you had going on. And I was lucky enough to participate in that. And one of the biggest thing I learned was about margins. You forget, right? So how much money you're actually making. So that really opened up my eyes for sure.
Perfect. And I know that you were an excellent student in that class, really taking everything in. And within 1 or 2 weeks, you were able to go out and increase your prices because you were seeing what was being charged in the market. You saw your margins, you knew what your goals were for the business. So really great at taking action, which I think is wonderful, Naima.
Yeah, and that I think one thing to also mention is that, that really saved me more time. I just, instead of relying on volume, I, start relying on smaller number of clients, but charging more. And that saved me a lot more time for sure. I have weekends to myself now.
Excellent. You probably still do some work, I imagine.
Yeah,
sometimes.
So that's Naima Guillermo. She is a creative. She's got a digital marketing, social media business. She helps clients get their message known, and really amazing woman. So check out the whole podcast. So you've got that in your links to on page 15 of your workbook. So you can hear a little bit more from her. But the part I really wanted you to take away is I've been talking about how important it is to know your numbers, how important it is to understand your pricing and if you're making enough money. And she, without much lead time, without much agony, after we had that discussion in the Cash Control Bootcamp, she went out and just increased her price list. And as she said, and you heard it in her own words, she was able to work less because now she needed fewer clients, able to focus more on the clients that she had and actually make more money. So that's fantastic. And she's such a great woman. So check her out on social media as well. She has some great videos and lots of great inspiration. So she may be someone that can assist you in your journeys as well. Welcome to those who've joined us since we started. glad that you are here. Today is Client Testimonial Day, because certainly you've heard me talk about what I'm teaching. You've got a sense for my style, and it's important for you to hear from others as well, to hear directly the impact that it's been on them. So now I want to introduce you to Maud Leger. We're going to hear a clip from her podcast where I was a guest, but she was certainly one of my clients, and she does real estate marketing. So she works with real estate agents. She's in the Burlington area, but she has a larger catch basin, and she helps real estate agents show up as their best. She's a fantastic woman as well. And so I want to show you a little clip from her. So I'm going to share that and pop over there so we can hear Maud. So we're going to, I've got that ready. I'm just going to hear a little clip from her. Perfect. Here.
It's a huge help. Once you take control, like you say, it feels like everything else doesn't matter. Like, tell me a little bit more about, like, most entrepreneurs and realtors, they're struggling because they're not on a salary. Everything would fluctuate for them. It would go up and down. Some months would be great, and some would not. So what advice do you have to deal with that?
So first thing is get comfortable with your numbers. Actually look at them is the first step. So I know sometimes it's not that fun. People think, oh, I'm going to delegate that to someone else, or it'll work out. As long as I'm busy, I'm going to make money. But it's really important to get to know your numbers, get to know what kind of historically, what is the low, what's the high, what's the range that looks like. And then I encourage, especially entrepreneurs who have that wide fluctuation in the inflows and the outflows, to make cash flow forecasts. And it doesn't need to be complicated. You can do it on paper to get started, but just so that you have an idea of when's money going to come in, when's it going out, and then what's that gap, and how can you manage that, and then try to fill that gap either with savings, whether it's keeping money as you make profit, keep it in the bank, whether it's through a line of credit, just to bridge through those times, but really get comfortable with your numbers.
That's amazing. I've been using your cash flow table for a few years now, and I started using it for everything. So personal, I have a condo investment. I use it for that, just to see how much is going in and out, and then to have a forecast of how things are going. So that's amazing.
Yeah, because often what will happen is that there's enough money overall, but it's not there at the right time. So you need to know if you're going to be short one day and how you have to deal with that, because the money doesn't come in till another day. So I'm so glad you find it useful.
Yeah, thank you. And how important?
So that's Maud. She and I worked together over a couple months, and she really went full in on the cash flow template, cash flow forecasting template. And when you're in the Cash Control Bootcamp, that is absolutely a tool you're going to receive. You're going to have the opportunity to have training on it, and then to be able to actually put it into practice and make it part of those routines. We talked a lot last week, and certainly you have those new routines to set up. That's on page 16 of your workbook, where we talked about, let's review our financial results. Let's assess our cash flow. And so number one is being able to assess and predict our cash flow forecast. And then when we get to that given month in a particular time period, measure the actual right to that projected and see how things are looking, so that we're going to continue to forecast that into the future. So Maud Leger out of Burlington, some of you may be familiar with her, really great at servicing real estate agents and helping them show up the most professional that they can. And again, an example of another creative or service professional. And so for so many, especially what she hit on right at the beginning when she started talking about that up and down cash flow and that uncertainty that's happening with that. Certainly something that I know so many of you mentioned to me, either on our sessions or privately in some calls or some emails, and kind of leveling that out so that we don't have this feast or famine kind of thing. We can figure out a way to get to a steady cash flow, which is so great. So for those who just joined, all the relevant links are there in the chat if you need them. Way to check out the details for the bootcamp. If you want to talk it through, see if it's the right time, it's the right thing for you. For those who maybe think it's the right thing for them, maybe it's not the right time, or you want to do both, certainly we'd love to have you at our weekly money meetups. I know Arlene is signed up so that she can meet with us there and a couple other people, but it's really a weekly drop-in so we can keep this community going. So if you haven't signed up, please feel free to do that at bizmoneyclub.com. And I've popped the YouTube link there for all of the replays from this week. All of the replays will be going down Wednesday at midnight. So if you haven't checked them out yet, please feel free to do that. The final person I want you to hear from today is Kishel Davis. And Kishel is in Bahamas. She is the owner and founder of the Training Authority. She knew she couldn't make it live with me today, so we actually hopped on Zoom and did an interview so that we would have it for today. So it's not live, but if you do have other questions for her, please let me know, because I know she'd be happy to answer them. But she worked with us in the Cash Control Bootcamp as well. And I want you to hear directly from her a little bit about her business, a little bit about what she was able to learn and actually put into practice. And like we talked about, and I mentioned it in the sessions over the weekend, but I mentioned it so much last week, everyone here, everyone who's been joining, everybody who signed up for the training, everyone is smart. Everyone can figure this out. It's just, are you going to take the time? Is it going to become a priority? How is all of that going to come together? And so everyone has the capacity to. It's just, will that happen on your own, or do you need someone to guide you with that? So I want to share with you Kishel's interview. As I mentioned, she is coming from Bahamas with us. So let me find the right place. Here she is. So I'm going to get that. Share this one. I'm going to make it bigger and we'll be all set. It's about 6-7 minutes. So she's done this especially for us. Welcome, everybody. I am super excited to be here speaking with Kishel Davis, CEO of the Training Authority. So welcome, Kishel.
Hey, Tracy. Thank you. It's fun to be here.
Well, I'd love it if you can start by sharing with everybody who's listening a little bit about you, where you're located, your business, so we can get a feel for what's going on in your life on a regular basis.
Awesome. So I run a company called the Training Authority. It's located in Nassau, Bahamas. So I'm born and raised in the Bahamas, and this is where I primarily work. The Training Authority is a corporate and business education company. So we work with corporate organizations as well as entrepreneurs to deliver a number of business topics really relating to just growth of organizations and entrepreneurs as well.
Excellent. And so you and I got to know each other through a women's program for entrepreneurs, which was fantastic. And I know that before we started working together, there was some things that were kind of in the back of your mind, maybe some pain points from a financial standpoint running the business. Would love it if you can share a little bit about that with us.
Yeah, so when we met, business was definitely growing, and my focus was not on finances, right? I was focused on what I loved, which was the marketing, which was the tech, which was the delivery. But I knew that for me, my next level of growth needed a focus on finances, particularly just cash flow, and just understanding how it works on a deeper level, taking a closer look at the numbers, because that was something that just became a contentious part of not only my business life, but also it spilled over into my relationship where, I wasn't able to communicate what was going in and what was going out. I didn't have those answers. And so we met, and you showed quite a lot of expertise in the program that we are in. And so I was happy when we connected.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so you were one of our participants in the Cash Control Bootcamp, the group program. And so we've made some enhancements to it since you were there based on your feedback. But I'd love to hear about your experience. And then when you were finished with that group program, any transformations you saw in yourself or in your business?
Yeah, so yeah, I joined the boot camp, and I loved it for several reasons. Number one, I love the small group that we had at that time. I'm pretty sure it's grown now, but I love that because we were able to have direct conversations with the participants who saw their finances at a different level, who had different experiences with finances, and I thought that added a rich experience. I love learning from people.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fantastic to be able to
yeah.
hear other questions as well.
Yes, exactly. From the questions as well, because sometimes, I don't have a question, but someone asks a question that is helpful. So that was definitely a valuable piece. And each week, I loved how you broke down the big role of finances on a week to week basis. One of the things that, I learned and I just got reinforced is just the importance of taking that time, right? It seems simple, but sometimes we need that reminder and that reinforcement to sit down and just look at the numbers and having that appreciation of why that's important. So that was a big thing. And then I remember one of the lessons you talked particularly about and I thought this was a valuable piece to me, just, knowing what to say and how to communicate the topic of finances to people in your life, not only, my relationship with my husband, but also, your banker and a bookkeeper and what to look for, the questions to ask. They were really very valuable. So I enjoyed the session.
Excellent. And I know that we went on to do a couple private coaching sessions after that. What would you say the differences that you found between the group and when we were doing some one-on-one work?
Yeah, I think for me, I jumped on the private sessions because it was an opportunity for me to dive deeper into what I would have learned in the boot camp. And what I loved about the one-on-one sessions was you were now able to look directly at my numbers.
Yeah.
And we talked specifically about what was happening in my business. We looked at spreadsheets. You gave me some homework, and I was able to, complete those. And so I was able to ask more specific questions based on the dollars and cents really that were showing up in my business. And you were able to provide more specific answers based on what you see. And even from that time, certain things that you said in those one-on-one sessions, because you knew a little bit more, still stuck with me right now. Just, how to approach my business, how to look at it, especially as I was in the position of growing and considering bringing in new employees, and then what numbers to look out for, and then also with things to be mindful of, potential pitfalls. And so it was very, very valuable.
Excellent. And so if anybody's listening to you right now and they're kind of on the fence, they're not sure if they should jump into the boot camp, what would you say to them?
I would say go into it, even if you feel you know something about finances, because I thought I did. I mean, I knew I wasn't clueless, but I came in with an open mind, and I was so blown away by even the simple nuggets that you gave in each one of the sessions, things that either was a good reminder that you said it in a very unique way that stuck with me. And so I would say if you're on the fence thinking about joining the bootcamp, it is an investment in your business. It's an investment in your future because, if you're not focused on the cash, and this is why I took out of it, you can focus on anything else, but if you're not focused on the cash, you're really doing your business a disservice. And so that's why I was so grateful. And so if you're on the fence, I would say it's totally worth the investment and the time.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing so freely of your experience. We know that financial fitness is a journey, and so you're always learning more. We're not all starting in the same place, and so whatever you can do to keep building up your financial foundation, and as you spoke to, making that investment in yourself, because we know that finances impacts every area of your life, your mental health, your physical health, your relationships, everything that's going on. So if you can get that mastered, you put yourself in good stead. So thanks, Kishel. I would love it before you go, if you could share with listeners where they can find out more about you, if they're intrigued about the Training Authority and about you. Where's the best place for them to find you?
I am all over social media. So you pick a platform, you can find me. My name is unique. So it's Kishel, K-E-S, S as in Sam, H-E-L-L-E, Davis. Or you can Google me, Kishel Davis, and you'll find, what the Training Authority does, what I'm all about. My website will pop up as well. But I love to connect with people on social media. So you find your favorite platform, you search for me, and I'll pop up.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we will talk to you soon. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you, Tracy.
So that is Kishel, and as you can tell, she had a lot of observations, different things that she was putting into practice, but it was those little nuggets, those reminders. And as what might resonate with so many of you is that she's really excited about the clients and the client delivery and the marketing and all of that stuff, and was not as keen on looking at the financial side of her business. And so having a way to do that in a very focused routine was very important to her. And you heard firsthand from her what those results were. So again, I make the invitation. We're going to be starting next Tuesday on May the 25th. Would love to have all of you involved in the Cash Control Bootcamp. I know that some of you have some questions, you're thinking about things. If that is the case, please book a call with me. So we can talk through any concerns, any questions that you have about specifically what are we going to do. The links are in the chat in the email that you receive around 4:30 p.m. Eastern every day. The links are there. So we're going to be closing up enrollment for that boot camp this week, so that we can get back to serving the clients that we have. If it's not the right time, it's not the right fit for you, would so love to still have you participate in the Biz Money Club so we can keep this conversation going, we can keep the training going. I'm going to open it up right now for anybody if there are questions that you have. I know that some people are on mute, so maybe not so many questions. You can drop them in the chat or you can unmute.
I'm still here, Tracy.
Great. Hi. Any questions that you have, Arlene?
Is the Cash Flow Boot Camp the one that, okay, let me look at my notes. The
6 weeks live online program, group program, yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, so we've talked about that. Yeah, I mean, it does absolutely sound like it would be highly valuable.
Yeah, and so we're starting the next round next week, but for those where it's not the right time, not the right fit right now, certainly we will be running other rounds of the boot camp. So
sorry, I'm going to mute myself. My kids are on their school break, so there's balls being tossed around outside.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will certainly stay on the Wednesday calls.
Yeah,
I've got
wonderful.
that scheduled as well. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. And so if you have other questions, you want to have them answered, I know this isn't necessarily the forum for everybody, but please book a time. Let's talk about that. As I said, we are kicking off next Tuesday. So we're going to keep it short and sweet today. For those catching the replay, check your email, find those links, and we're going to wrap everything up tomorrow. Just as a reminder, the replays are coming down Wednesday at midnight. So if you're wanting to watch any of those sessions and catch them before they go down, please do so before then. And thank you very much. I appreciate your attention and your desire to increase your financial fitness. It is extremely inspiring, and I am very excited for you and to have been in service for you over this last week. And we got one day left, and then I hope to keep the conversation going with so many of you. So thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Tracy.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too.